you doing, Master? Oh, I know, you're always quite cranky whenever you are sleeping away from your coffin, but don't you worry. Before we left home, of course, I packed up a nice little baggie of your ancestral soil, so we'd have something with us in case we ended up sleeping away from home. So, I'm just going to tuck this under the bed, and that should take care of any worries you have about getting a good day's sleep. Alright. Yes, I know it's been a very long day, but don't you worry. After all of the excitement tonight, just think, soon you'll be at rest in a nice bed with your ancestral soil underneath. And you will drift off into a delightful, dreamless slumber. I, on the other hand, still have a whole body to clean up before I get to go to sleep. And so much blood. Goodness, it's a good thing that the owner, or previous owner of this apartment, stocked up on Mr. Clean eraser sponges. That will come in handy when I have to clean up. Hopefully cut down on it by a few hours. And then I'll get to go to sleep as well. Won't that be nice? Alright, so I'm going to tuck this under the bed for you, okay? I'm sure it already feels so much more comfortable sleeping in this unfamiliar bed, with your ancestral soil tucked nice and snug under there. You don't think I would actually forget that, do you? No. Alright, and I have a little surprise for you too. Yes, I do. Now, just one moment. I know that you typically always like to go to sleep, tucked up in your cozy coffin, with your Hellhound plushie, and now I unfortunately could not get my hands on a Hellhound plushie in this unfamiliar neighborhood, but I did find this as a replacement. This dachshund that I think is from The Secret Life of Pets movies. Not your typical vampire, genre of film, but I think he will suffice. I hope he will suffice for the night, and get you through your sleep, or suffice through the day, excuse me. Even after all these years, as you're familiar, I still get so confused and mixed up sometimes between day and night. But how about this? Would you like to sleep with this little plushie? Oh, Master, please, you're still cranky. You need to just breathe. I know it's not your Hellhound, but unfortunately, I don't know where I'm going to find another Hellhound plushie at this time of night. Alright, so we'll have to make do, okay? Just for the night, just for one night, I promise, alright? Oh, thank you for compromising. That's so sweet of you, yes. Oh, goodness. You're a little testy tonight, I gotta say. Have you been drinking all of your blood types? You haven't been skipping out on O negative, have you? Oh, Master, I know that's not your favorite blood type, but you need to make sure you get all of your blood types to have a healthy, balanced diet, or you're going to get cranky like you are tonight. Now, I've prepared your relaxing nightly glass of blood. Unfortunately, everything happened outside, out in the hall rather quickly, since you did choose to attack a human just out of the blue like that. I did not have a chance to, take time or prepare to check their blood type. I don't have the equipment on me, so I don't know what type blood this is, but I can say it does look very, very high quality. Despite the looks of this apartment, I think this is a human who took very good care of themselves. Yes, let me get your blood for you, okay? I think you're going to find it very delightful. Ah, yes, look at this. Ah, it's still warm. Still warm. Why? I'm tempted to drink it myself. It looks so delicious, don't you think so, Master? Yes, I think that if you just breathe, and drink some nice, warm, freshly squeezed human blood, that will help calm you down for the night, okay? Yes, look at that. Nice and thick. Yes. Yes, I think it will be very, very delectable. Alright, so here we go. What do you mean the glass isn't fancy enough? Where do you think we are? This isn't Versailles, Master. This is a crappy apartment in a bad neighborhood. They're not going to have crystal glasses or fine china for you to consume your blood from. You refuse to drink it from a jam jar. Alright. Let me see what else I can find, okay? Just one moment. Let's see. Yes, don't you think I already looked all over the kitchen? I'm seeing if there's anything else hidden away that I can use. You never know. Maybe they're storing and hiding all the fancy stuff. Let me keep looking just a moment. Alright, so no fine china crystal glasses, but I did find this Slytherin mug from the Wizarding World, and I know that you refused to go there because of your opposition to J.K. Rowling and all of the unfortunate sort of unsavory statements she's made towards certain demographics, but this could be your chance to indulge in Wizarding World for a bit. I know you're a secret fan. You sure? Aren't you a Slytherin as well? You sure you want to pass this opportunity up? That's a good master, you see. Yet no one has to know. None of your vampire friends have to know that you are indulging in a Harry Potter mug. I promise. I promise. Okay? Your secret. despite you being a bit snobby, not gonna lie, I don't want what's left in this glass to go to waste, so I'm gonna set this on the nightstand right next to your Slytherin mug, okay? And if you get a little urging for a snack in the middle of the day, this will be there, okay? But you drink up your blood because you need it before you go to sleep to get a good night's rest, okay? Yes, and while you drink your blood, I'm gonna double check the curtains over there because now it's very, very late into the morning and the sun's gonna be coming up soon. And isn't it lucky that this apartment just so happened to have those blackout curtains in here? Oh, who'd have thought? But I'm gonna check and make sure that they're set up nice and firm so no sunlight will be let in during the day while you slumber, alright? Alright. I'm gonna set this on the table, alright? Did you drink all your blood? Oh, very good. Good, Master. You know, it's so nice when you're cooperative before bed. Doesn't it make things so much more relaxing? Oh, you're still in a bad mood. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, let's see if we can turn that bad mood around before your scary vampire eyes drift closed, okay? I found something else that I think might help too. So, our little friend had some sleep spray or some room mist laying around their bedroom. I think it could be a good thing to help you get in that nice relaxing mood. Let's see. So I think it's a lavender type scent. Definitely not quite as pungent as the scents that you're used to back home. But hey, it's always nice to try new things, don't you think? I think that we can use this. Sorry, just adjusting your sweet little Plushie friend. There we go. But it's always nice to try new things. I think this is a great opportunity. And frankly, I think that we could use as many different smells drifting throughout this apartment to help cover up the body and the scent that's starting to come from that out in the hallway. So, if not for pleasure, I think we should use this out of a sense of survival, you know, so we don't get anyone barging in, looking around, and all suspicious. going to spray it all around you. And down, down the bed. All right. Yes. How does that smell? Oh, you see, it's not so bad. Not so bad. You better get used to it while you sleep, because the whole hallway's gonna smell like it once you wake up tomorrow night, alright? How do you feel? Are you feeling comfortable? Yes, I'm aware that these are quite raggedy covers. But again, Master, think of where we are. Not everyone can afford the finest of coffins, of pillows, of silk sheets. Let this be a lesson to you to think more carefully before you decide to suck a little too hard on somebody in a random apartment when we're far away from home. You may be hitting 200, but I think that you could still learn quite a few life lessons at your old age. But to help with your comfort level, and again, to hopefully make you feel just a little more at home, I did find this nice big plush ultra soft blanket that I can cover you with as well. Now, it's still not the luxury quality that you are used to, but given the area that we're in, I'd say this is the creme de la creme of blankets and bed sheets. Would you like me to cover you with it? Oh, that's the spirit, yes. Just try it out. We can always remove it if you're not comfortable, okay? Now, I'm just going to move your little plushie to the side, alright? And you just stay still. Stay nice and cozy and still, and I'll drape this right over you. See how nice and cozy that is? Yes. I'll get you all wrapped up and tucked in. I promise you'll feel just like you're right home in your coffin. Alright? Wonderful. feeling a little better, I hope. Lost some of that crankiness, I see. No, Master, of course, I'm not trying to be snarky or make fun of you or anything. I think that you are just still a bit moody from having such an excitable day. You don't think you're a little moody right now? No, I'm not trying to talk to you like you're a child. I know you're much older than me, yes. If I keep talking to you like this, you're going to suck me dry next. Is that supposed to be a threat? Go ahead, you'd be doing me a favor. Have you seen how miserable the world is today? The only reason I am not wallowing in my own misery like everyone else is because at least I'm not working a corporate job, but for a delightful undead soul like yourself. Oh, now you're saying that if I keep talking like this, you won't ever turn me into a vampire. Oh, please. Me, a vampire, in this economy. Again, have you seen the world? Everyone's miserable. Everyone probably tastes like debt and depression. That is not appealing to me. I have a friend, Guillermo. He's also a familiar. He has a friend who was recently turned into a vampire. And what is he doing? No, he's not living the high life, going to fancy balls and the annual vampire orgy. No, he is stuck working the night shift at some run-down convenience store. Working at a run-down convenience store for the rest of your eternal undead life. No, thank you. I'll pass on that. I will die. Not happy, but as happy as I can be, given the day and age that we live in. Nice try, though. Nice try. Sorry, your threads just aren't what they used to be. But, yeah, that was cute. Thanks for the laugh. Now, I suggest you simmer. Cool your rage, alright? And try to get some sleep. Yes, and I think after you get some sleep, you'll feel a lot better as well. I really do, yes. But you know, something else I noticed as I've been tucking you in. Just right around here. Don't think I didn't notice. Actually, I was kind of hoping that you would tell me first before I said anything. But I see it up here. You were rooting around their attic, weren't you? I keep telling you, Master, demons do not actually lurk in people's attics. That is just something in the movies. Yes, I know you have been studying the dark arts for much longer than I have, but I like to think that I'm a bit more thorough in my research than you, and that is just something in movies. I have not found any accounts in any history books of actual demons lurking in the attics, and you need to stop crawling around up there, because you know what? You know what's harmful to vampires aside from a certain someone's name? The sunlight and silver. Asbestos. Yes, asbestos. And you don't believe me, but you're going to get tangled up in it one of these days, and you will be sorry. Yes, I heard the damage it does to your supple vampire skin is just as bad as the sunlight, if not worse, if not treated. Oh, yes, so you crawling around in the attics. Yes, you have cobwebs all around your beautiful face. And I'm going to need to clean it up, alright? Alright, yes. Lucky for you, I have some brushes that I can just dust all of the cobwebs away. Okay? But I need you to promise me no more rooting around people's attics. If you want to root around an attic, you need to do it in ours back home. Alright? Or at least ask people first. Why? Because attics are very private places. And you could find not a demon, but something else hidden in the attic that you will not want to stumble upon. Alright. use this kind of fun-shaped body brush, and I'm just going to sort of like, granted I know you don't eat out at restaurants very much anymore, but if you remember going to very fancy restaurants of the high society back in the day, just using this the way a waiter might use one of those little scrapers to scrape off the crumbs from a table. Alright, so just hold still, we're almost done. I know it's taking a long time, and I know that you don't like sitting still or having to get cleaned. Oh goodness. Oh, you poor thing, don't worry. No, I'm not treating you like a child, I promise. Sit still. Don't make me have to belt you down like I did 2 weeks ago. We don't want a repeat of that now, do we? No, we don't. Alright. So, start right up here. Just like this. And get all of that dust. We have finally gotten you in pink. Excuse me, in peak, not pink, but peak comfort. Wouldn't you agree? We've got your ancestral soil underneath the bed. We've got a delightfully scented room spray drifting around your undead body. We've got a cute Hellhound substitute plushie, a luxurious comfy blankie. You're dust-free. You've had your nightly glass of blood. I think you'd be feeling pretty good right now, don't you? Oh, that's right. You want a bedtime story? How could I forget? Oh, I know I shouldn't have forgotten. I remembered the ancestral soil, okay? I could have forgotten that, I think. Forgetting your bedtime story is definitely the lesser of those two items. Don't worry, there are some books I've been looking at, I think there might be some good options, for you. I thought they looked a bit interesting, alright? Alright, one moment, and I'll be right back. Just gonna pull up a chair here, so I can read you your books. So I have a stack of books here. Before we get started, I do need to bring something up, okay? These here, I need to address something, and you may not want to hear it, but I think it's important, and that's that I think we need to lay off reading the erotica before bed, okay? I know that's your favorite genre, I know, but it's gotten to a point where I really do think it is not healthy. I know you're a vampire, and vampires have much higher libidos and sex drives than the typical human, I know, but Master, I've read erotica to you before you've gone to sleep for the past 487 nights. Alright. That's quite a few nights in a row. Okay, and I know you don't want to, I know, but even for a vampire, if anything, I do fear that you may eventually become desensitized to all of the descriptions in the erotica, and that would be terrible if you stop enjoying it, don't you think? I really think it's important. Even, you know what, this has been our night of trying new things, okay? And just one night, okay? Just one night without erotica. I know you really, really want to read it. I know it's so hard. But just one night, and you know what? Going one night without your erotica, if anything, that will make it that much more tantalizing tomorrow night when we read it, okay? Yes, it will. Yes, it will, I promise. In the words of Jared from Silicon Valley, hunger is the best sauce. And the more you hunger for that erotica, the tastier it is going to be once you finally get it. I promise, yes. Yes, so let's take a look at the books that I brought out. I think that we'll be able to find something else that interests you, yes. Oh, thank you. You are being so brave and so strong. Yes, thank you, Master. Alright, so also let me lift my chair up some. There we go. That's a bit better. Alright, so I have some books from which to read to you. Several options here. And I think we'll find something good. Yeah, these were just laying around the apartment. Pick them up. Alright? So let's see what our little friend has in store for us. So first, oh, look at that. How relevant. How relevant. This would be perfect for you. Look at that. Discipline equals freedom. Field Manual by Jocko Willink. Discipline equals freedom. How perfect. What a coincidence. I think that this... No, you don't want this. Alright. it's worth a try, right? Alright, so this here, this looks like a fun read. This seems like something you'd really enjoy. How about this? Saints behaving badly. The cutthroats, crooks, trollops, conmen, and devil worshippers who became saints. You know, I do think that this could be a little dangerous, considering we're talking about saints, even though some of them may have been devil worshippers. I think there's definitely going to be some religious type language in here that could cause some burning in your ears. We don't want you to go through any pain. Let me, you know what, I'll take a read through this. Why don't I put this, we'll take this home with us for, to read later. I'll take a read through it and make sure that I omit any HOLY type words that could be detrimental to your health. And then we can read through this together. I think this would be fun. Yeah, you want to take it home? Oh yeah, it's fine. I've already started a tote bag of knickknacks and stuff that I'm going to take with me. It's not like our friend's going to need it anymore, right? But yeah, I'll throw that in there for you as well. No problem. But here we have butter. A rich history. This was an interesting find. I mean, I know you can't really delight in the joy of eating butter anymore, but I don't know. It spoke to me. What can I say? Pass. Yeah. That's okay. That's why I brought several for you to choose from. Alright, next we have this really creepy looking manga right here. But it looks right up your alley. Lychee Light Club by Usamaru Furuya. Let's see. For the sooty industrial town's lads, there's only one point of light. The Light Club, a secret brotherhood they've organized in an abandoned factory. They're on the verge of booting up their crowning achievement, a thinking machine fueled by lychee fruits. At the same time, the middle schoolers' cooties fearing solidarity is devolving into a downright National Socialist muck of murderous paranoia, perverse aestheticism, and not always suppressed homosexuality. Cult favorite Usamaru Furuya's most flawlessly realized work to date, here is Lord of the Flies for Our New Century, a text, however, that will never be assigned in schools. Fascinating. Yeah, this looks nice and sick and twisted. Just what we love. Though I will say, considering we've got all of these illustrations in here, I don't know if it's the best thing for us to read as a bedtime story outlet. I want those sweet, scary vampire eyes to be drifting shut instead of looking at this. But I'll add it to the stack of books we'll take with us, okay? Okay, we'll read it later, I promise. That one looks like a good one, I think, as well. You know, I like my sick and twisted stuff. And speaking of that, this is another thing I think looks interesting. I do love me some Joyce Carol Oates. We have Haunted Tales of the Grotesque. And this is a book of short stories. It looks like you could pick a story to read. It doesn't. Alright, I know you're still wanting erotica, but I don't even know if this person has any erotica. And no, I'm not going to pull some up on my phone. Do you have any idea how many Wattpad and archive of our own stories I'm going to have to read through to find something that's actually decent? No, I think, you know what? I think that this is good. I think that this is good. And if anything, you know, it'll bore you to sleep, okay? Just what we need right now. Now just shut those big red eyes of yours. And what I'm gonna do actually, let's see. You know what? Let's do something kind of fun. I'm going to read to you from the afterword. Maybe it'll give us an idea of all of the stories that come out before. Excuse me. But I'm going to read to you from the afterword, all about reflections on the grotesque. Oh, that sounds like something that would interest you. Do it for me, Master, please. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I see that sleep starting to take over already. Oh, you're getting much more agreeable. Alright, just relax, relax, and I will read you to sleep. Okay. Lovely. Alright, so looking just at the first couple pages, I'm already seeing some names that I may not be able to pronounce correctly just at first glance. Apologies, I'm not as old and cultured as yourself, but please just bear with me and please enjoy this afterward, despite any mispronunciations, okay? Thank you, Master. Now, afterward, reflections on the grotesque. What is the grotesque? And what is horror in art? And why do these seemingly repellent states of mind possess, for some, an abiding attraction? I take as the most profound mystery of our human experience the fact that, though we each exist subjectively and know the world only through the prism of self, this subjectivity is inaccessible, thus unreal and mysterious to others. And the obverse, all others are, in the deepest sense, strangers. The arts of the grotesque are so various as to resist definition. Here we have the plenitude of the imagination itself, from the Anglo-Saxon saga of Grendel's monster mother and Beowulf, to impish, ugly gargoyles carved on cathedral walls, from terrifyingly matter-of-fact scenes of carnage in the Iliad, to the hallucinatory vividness of the remarkable piece of apparatus of Franz Kafka's In the Penal Colony, from the comic nightmare images of Hieronymus Bosch to the strategic artfulness of 20th century film Werner Herzog's 1979 remake of the 1922 classic of the German silent screen, F.W. Murnau's Nosferatu the Vampire. To give but one example, the grotesque is a sensibility that accommodates the genius of Goya and the kitsch surrealism of Dali, the crude visceral power of H.P. Lovecraft, and the baroque elegance of Isak Dinesen, the fatalistic simplicity of Grimm's fairy tales, and the complexity of vision of which, for instance, William Faulkner's A Rose for Emily is a supreme example. The grotesque image is as historical commentary. The protracted on-stage torture of Shakespeare's Gloucester and King Lear is the very height of the theatrical grotesque. But so is, in less graphic terms, the fate of Samuel Beckett's hapless heroes and heroines, the female mouth of Mouth, for instance. From Nikolai Gogol's The Nose to Paul Bowles's A Distant Episode, from images of demonic flesh of Max Klinger, Edvard Munch, Gustav Klimt, and Egon Schiele, to Francis Bacon, Eric Fischl, Robert Gober, from Jeremias Gotthelf to postmodern fantasists Angela Carter, Thomas Ligotti, Clive Barker, Lisa Tuttle, and mainstream bestsellers Stephen King, Peter Straub, Anne Rice. We recognize the bold strokes of the grotesque, however widely styles vary. Is a ghost story inevitably of the genre of the grotesque? No. Victorian ghost stories, on the whole, are too nice, too ladylike, whatever the sex of the writer. Much of Henry James's ghostly fiction, like that of his contemporaries Edith Wharton and Gertrude Atherton, though elegantly written, is too genteel to qualify. The grotesque is the hideous animal men of H.G. Wells's The Island of Dr. Moreau, or the taboo images of the most inspired filmmaker of the grotesque of our time, David Cronenberg. That is, the grotesque always possesses a blunt physicality that no amount of epistemological exegesis can exercise. One might define it, in fact, as the very antithesis of nice. It was in 1840 that Edgar Allan Poe, our greatest and most beleaguered artist of the grotesque, published Tales of the Grotesque and Arabesque, containing works that would become classics: The Fall of the House of Usher, The Telltale Heart, The Pit and the Pendulum, The Mask of the Red Death, The Cask of Amontillado. At this time, there existed a rich, diverse literature to which the architectural term Gothic had been applied. Poe was well aware of this literature. Horace Walpole's The Castle of Otranto, a Gothic tale, Richard Cumberland's The Poisoner of Montremose, Anne Radcliffe's masterpiece, Mysteries of Udolpho and the Italian, M.G. Lewis's The Monk, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, C.R. Maturin's Melmoth the Wanderer, the uncanny fables of E.T.A. Hoffmann, of which The Sandman is most Poe-like, and the tales of Poe's fellow Americans, Washington Irving, whose affable prose style masks the grotesqueries of Rip Van Winkle, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and Nathaniel Hawthorne. And there was Charles Brockden Brown's Wayland, our premier American Gothic novel. In turn, Poe's influence upon the literature of the grotesque and the mystery detective genre has been so universal as to be incalculable. Who has not been influenced by Poe? However obliquely, indirectly. However the influence absorbed in adolescence or even in childhood would seem to be far behind us. This predilection for art that promises we will be frightened by it, shaken by it, at times repulsed by it, seems to be as deeply imprinted in the human psyche as the counter-impulse toward daylight, rationality, scientific skepticism, truth, and the real. Leaving aside for the moment whether rationality is in fact contact with the real. Are Aubrey Beardsley's sly, sinister, hermaphrodite figures less real than the commissioned portraits of James McNeill Whistler? A sensibility that would find intolerable the lurid excesses of Sheridan Le Fanu's Carmilla or Bram Stoker's Dracula might respond with much feeling to vampire tales cast in a more literary mode, like Henry James's The Turn of the Screw and such symbolist, realist works by Thomas Mann as Death in Venice, Mario the Magician, Tristan. Of all monstrous creatures, it has been the vampire that by tradition both attracts and repels. For vampires have nearly always been portrayed as aesthetically, that is, erotically appealing. Peter Quint is the hinge, red-haired, wearing no hat, very erect, upon which James's The Turn of the Screw turns, unless he is the screw itself. And this is the forbidden truth, the unspeakable taboo, that evil is not always repellent, but frequently attractive, that it has the power to make of us not simply victims, as nature and accident do, but active accomplices. Children are particularly susceptible to images of the grotesque, for children are learning to monitor what is real and what is not real, what is benign and what not. The mental experiences of very young children, afterward layered over by time and forgotten, must with meanings, how to make sense of this blooming, buzzing universe. The earliest and most horrific image of my childhood, as deeply embedded in my consciousness as any real event, and I lived on a small farm where the slaughtering of chickens must have been frequent, sprang at me out of a seemingly benign children's book, Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures Through the Looking Glass. In the concluding chapter of this generally disturbing book, Alice is being crowned queen at a banquet that begins with promise, then rapidly degenerates into anarchy. "Take care of yourself," screamed the White Queen, seizing Alice's hair with both hands. "Something's going to happen." And then, all sorts of things happened in a moment. The candles all grew up to the ceiling. As to the bottles, they each took a pair of plates, which they hastily fitted as wings, and so, with forks for legs, went fluttering about in all directions. At this moment, Alice heard a hoarse laugh at her side, and turned to see what was the matter with the White Queen, but instead of the queen there was the leg of mutton sitting in a chair. "Here I am," cried a voice from the soup tureen, and Alice turned again, just in time to see the queen's broad, good-natured face grinning at her for a moment over the edge of the tureen before she disappeared into the soup. There was not a moment to be lost. Already several of the guests were lying down in the dishes, and the soup ladle was walking up toward Alice's chair. Alice escapes the nightmare prospect of being eaten by waking from her dream as, in her Wonderland adventure, she woke from that dream. But what solace if the memory retains the unspeakable, and the unspeakable can't be reduced to a dream? Mankind's place in the food chain is this, the unspeakable knowledge, the ultimate taboo that generates the art of the grotesque, or all art, culture, civilization. In a more technical sense, art that presents horror in aesthetic terms is related to expressionism and surrealism in its elevation of interior, and perhaps repressed states of the soul to exterior status. Even if we were not now, in this age of deconstruction, psychologically and anthropologically capable of deciphering seemingly opaque documents, whether fairy tales, legends, works of art, or putatively objective histories and scientific reports, we should sense immediately in the presence of the grotesque that it is both real and unreal simultaneously. As states of mind are real enough, emotions, moods, shifting obsessions, beliefs, though immeasurable, the subjectivity that is the essence of the human is also the mystery that divides us irrevocably from one another. One criterion for horror fiction is that we are compelled to read it swiftly, with a rising sense of dread and so total a suspension of ordinary skepticism. We inhabit the material without question, and virtually as its protagonist. We can see no way out except to go forward. Like fairy tales, the art of the grotesque and horror renders us children again, evoking something primal in the soul. The outward aspects of horror are variable, multiple, infinite, the inner inaccessible. What the vision is we might guess, but inhabiting a brightly populated, sociable, intensely engaging outer world, in which we are defined to one another as social beings with names, professions, roles, public identities, and in which, most of the time, we believe ourselves at home. Isn't it wisest not to? Joyce Carol Oates, April 19.